Hello everybody, welcome to a new video of City Skylines 2. In this episode, I'm going to share some tips and strategies on how to build successful industrial areas. Where should you zone them? When should you zone them? And problems about the labor force, etc. Now, let's get started. No matter what kind of city you want to build, the zoning logic for your industrial areas is pretty much the same. You should make them clustered together and form exclusive industrial districts, because they produce a lot of pollution and noise. You need to keep these things contained and easy to manage. And if you have been following the game's tutorial, you must have known that you should check in which direction the wind blows by opening the air pollution lens, and also the water lens to check where the underground waters are and place your polluters away from them. Besides the polluter issue, you also benefit from clustering your industrial areas because it will be much easier to manage the traffic. The industrial buildings produce a huge amount of cargo traffic, so you don't want this part of traffic overlapping with the other functions of your city. Otherwise, there will be serious traffic jams. By priority, these cargoes will first go to your local commercial buildings as supplies. So, if you have a large concentrated commercial district, you need to make sure there is an artery line between it and your industrial areas, which is not so overlapping with the other traffics of your city. The rest cargo will be exported to the outside world to generate profit. By default, this will be done through cargo trucks onto the highway at the entrance. So, you also need to plan an artery line from your industrial area to there. This will also be the line for your industrial buildings to import materials if they can't get them locally. If you want to learn more about how to plan your traffic system and the road hierarchy, I have another 2 videos talking about them in detail. And speaking about the roads, it's also a good idea to use larger grids in your industrial district. Not like this. This is the mistake I made in my first city. This is because though the industrial zones are quite efficient at using space, the industrial signature buildings are huge. They can't be placed in those tight grids. And besides, you usually place other polluters and loud facilities in your industrial district. They are usually quite big and need larger grids too. Your industrial buildings use materials to produce products and then sell those products to generate profit. And the best way for them to get the materials is to source them locally. So, it's best to zone your industrial areas side by side with the natural resources, where you have built specialized industries, like the forestry district I have built here. You can see there are a lot of factories nearby chose to produce things like furniture because they can easily get cheap lumber locally. So, if you want to go heavy on manufacturing, it will be a good idea to check the natural resources lens whenever you unlock a new kind of industry or a new part of your map, and then plan your industrial areas around those resources. So then, when should you or when can you zone new industrial areas? If you are planning on going heavy on manufacturing, surely you want to zone new industrial areas whenever you can. First, you need to have enough industrial demand bar below. Without the demand bar, even if you zone new areas, they won't build anything in it. But the demand bar alone is not enough. You also need to make sure that there are enough labor force to be employed. Otherwise, your factories will complain about lack of workers and not function well, or not function at all. So, if you want to develop your industries, you have to develop your population at the same time. And when you have high-level industrial buildings, they would also need highly skilled workers, which come from highly educated residents. So it's also important to develop your education facilities inside the residential areas. If you want to build successful industrial areas, of course you would want your factories to level up and do their jobs better. The logic for leveling up industrial buildings is quite different from that for the residentials and commercials, though they too benefit from sufficient public services, except for parks so far it seems. But the industrial buildings leveling up is mainly linked to their profitability. The factories invest their disposable income to level up. And the first thing you want to do to increase profitability is to ensure they can easily source materials locally and preferably nearby. Besides, you can also lower the tax for the industrial areas, so they can have a larger part of the profit left to reinvest. And you can do a lot of micro adjustments on this. Okay, these are my tips for successful industrial areas. Hope you find these tips useful, and happy playing, happy designing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.